What's going on, family? Welcome back to Israel's Movie Reviews. And today, I'm really excited to be talking about Scream 6. And we're going to get straight into this movie. I've been looking forward to this movie since the last one last year finished, man. I knew for some reason this movie was going to be better than its predecessor, which was Scream 5, but originally just called Scream. I'm going to start off by saying that I don't know why this movie was called Scream when the last one was literally Scream. Blank like that. And then on this one, they put a 6. But at the end of the day, we all know that it's a sequel. And I'm not going to lie. I've watched this movie and I'm very happy. You know, Scream 6 to me, starting off with the positives, I think is a solid entry to the franchise. I was very, very excited to see this film. You know, the Carpenter Sisters, along with Chad and Mindy, moved to New York City. Then towards the beginning of the film, I'm not going to spoil you much, but towards the beginning of the film, when she's talking to her psychiatrist, you'll realize that it's been 6 months already that passed from the last movie. So this is basically 6 months later. They're in New York City. They're trying to cope with the past. Mainly Melissa Barrera's character, Sam. You know, she's really going through it. And this is basically in a new city based out of Woodsboro. You know, the film throws you for... Jesus Christ, this movie was just... As soon as it started, it took off. There's really no stop gaps. I love the way the movie was edited. And this film throws you straight into it really quickly. And I like the way they set things up. Even from the first kill, boy, was it a shock. They definitely did something different with this film. They did something different with the kills, even though that's one of my gripes, but we'll talk about that with my negatives, which I don't have that many in this film. But the film throws you to a different set, obviously, of Ghostface killers, and who torment the sisters, obviously, and their friends, you know, Chad and Mindy. This time it's about acknowledging the film as a proper franchise instead of a sequel. And obviously this movie has a scene where Mindy's going over the franchise rules and basically, you know, the whole spiel of nobody's safe, not even the legacy characters. The characters in this film, I'm not gonna lie, starting with the core 4, which they self-titled themselves, to the new characters, were a ride. The film holds your attention right from the start of the film. This movie is definitely way bigger than any of the previous films. This one was bigger, bloodier, and super fun, you know? Even though the kills, to me, they were gory, you know? And I love my Carnage candy. But they were a little gory, which, like I said, I'm happy about. But they weren't anything that I haven't seen in another movie, in a different franchise. You know, obviously, Ghostface is known to kill you with that knife. And boy, does he kill you with the knife. But in this film, one of my only gripes was I wanted to see Ghostface utilize New York City in different kills. You know, even though we do get one kill here that, you know, was pretty interesting, was pretty cool. But other than that, everything is a stabbing or with a knife, and it's cool. But in the sixth movie, in the sixth installment, I want to see something different. You know what I mean? The subway, to me, was one of the standout scenes in the film. The film, to me, moved with such a brisk pace that there were certain parts of the trailer where I was like, when is that going to happen? And then it happens. They did this, I think, really good. The movie felt like it was 15 minutes long, although it surpasses 2 hours. Like this, it's one of the fastest 2 hours I've been a part of. And the opening kill, to me, was creative. Other than the opening kill, nothing was pretty creative. But the build-up to the final reveal might not be as good as you would expect, but it was a reveal. It definitely was a reveal. It was something that I was I was semi-shocked because at the end of the day, the movie gave a lot of subtle clues to who was going to be the killer, but the motives of these killers made sense to a certain extent, but it felt a little too, I don't know, it felt a little too convenient to the plot. That's all I got to say about that, without spoiling too much. But I like what they did with Melissa Barrera's character. You know, I think she really was one of the standouts besides Chad in this film. I think she really delivered in this film. I liked her in Scream 5, but I wasn't too impressed with her in the last movie. I wasn't sure that she was strong enough to carry the movie as the new lead, but she sold me in this film. You know, the storyline to me was pretty clever. The scenes obviously more intense for the first time in the franchise. I like that they took it out of Woodsboro, brought it to Manhattan. Even though the movie in reality wasn't filmed in Manhattan, it was actually filmed in Canada. But they did utilize a lot of New York's, especially with the B-rolls in the film. They utilized New York, and I think in a very positive light. The killer seems so much more brutal and ruthless than the previous killers. I love that a lot. The scenes to me were more intense. I think the acting, for the most part, was much stronger. And with this movie, you're gonna guess the killer, but it's not like the last film. In the last film, it took me, I think, 10 minutes. I was like, I think I know the killer, at least one of them, right? In this film, it actually takes you a while. Like when you get that final reveal, you're shocked. You're genuinely shocked. And I was proved wrong. You know, this wasn't to me a run-of-the-mill slasher movie. I think as each movie in the Scream franchise goes on, and it's very rare for a franchise to have these movies. The Scream movies to me haven't took a dip at all. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, even the Halloween movies take a dip after a while. This movie has been consistent. And to be the sixth movie, I'm looking forward to the next one. This movie, without any spoilers, it's definitely going to lead you to a story that we all want to conclude in. And I think we know where it's going without spoiling anything. After you see this movie, you're going to realize and understand what I'm talking about. This is definitely going to keep you at the edge of your seat. I was very impressed. I think Mason Gooding, to me, was thrilling. He was satisfying to the sequel. He's just one of many in the stellar cast. And for this film to be an iconic horror franchise that it is, that started back in '96, and for it to keep going the way it is, man, I think they could pull off actually a few more movies. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I think the direction that this movie goes in, I think Radio Silence, Matt Bettinelli and Tyler Gillette, I think, helmed a successful reboot from the 2002 version to this one. They managed to balance not only homage, but innovation. You know, they definitely delivered with this film, and they definitely paid homage to Wes Craven. My last gripe about the film is when they do get to that reveal, I kind of wanted it to be like when you see the Saw movies. Not only are they telling you what happened or whatever, they show it to you, either in flashback or through someone's vision or through somebody's point of view. They don't do this in the final act. I think that, to me, was disappointing. But I think they managed to nail a lot of the things that we were telling ourselves. The film was self-aware, very meta. They were basically poking fun at a lot of the horror tropes that come with horror movies. The conventional things, the predictions, without being too cynical or predictable. And the movie even has a post-credit scene that it's just funny. It's not worth watching at the end of the day, just to give you a heads up. But they do have their version of a post-credit scene that has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the next movie. So, you know, brace yourselves for those. But this was a great movie. Go definitely check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Very, very good movie. I give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely could have been 8.5. But that ending, it's going to be mixed with a lot of people. But definitely let me know what you think. Hit that like button if you like this video. If you want to subscribe, appreciate you. And I look forward to hearing you and seeing you on the next video. To the next one. Peace.